Welcome to Day 11 Challenge, Harp Technique. The theme is integration. So let's review what we went through last week. We talked about 4 steps of intentional practice. The first step is awake your body awareness. And step 2 is setting your intention on external and internal outcome. So basically, setting intention how you want to play or what kind of result you want to get in a sound, or how do you want to feel with the sound or in the process of making sound. So step 3 is make sound with simultaneous deep listening to your own sound in the state of self-remembering. So this process we went through in the day 8 challenge this week. If you cannot understand what I'm talking about, just go back and then to review the videos. And step 4 is evaluate the outcome. So now you have the sound came out and you had an intention. So check if your sound is aligned to your intention you set. Now, last week I broke down the process of simple plucking into 3 stages. The first stage is place on the strings. And second stage is pressurize. And the third stage is release. So this is what we did last week. And this week I would like to show how to play chord with the body awareness. So principles are pretty much same to simple plucking. We have 3 stages: place, pressurize, and release. And also using the gravity to pressurize the strings. And when you release, you don't add too much movement, just let it go. So also when I placing, starting from the awareness and closer to the body, and then keep the awareness on the entire arm, and then bring the hand in a good position and place. So that principles are same. So if I add something extra here, is the inner sensation when I'm placing multiple fingers with the thumb at the same time on the strings. That is the hand, like as a spider, comfortably hanging on the strings with leg is leg like a finger. So I'm use an analogy, like a hand is a spider and then fingers are like a leg. So the spider hang on the branch of strings comfortably, and so it's in a way like you are resting entire body of spider, your hand, on the strings, and basically you use the gravity and kind of land onto the strings and comfortably. So last week I showed an exercise, like muscle Ganjani's exercise, like sliding your finger up and down along the strings. And when you're coming down, you add a pressure to the strings. And then with a nice shape of the hand and also the nice coming down force, using your own weight, you pressurize the strings. You do the same thing, like going up and down, sliding along the strings, and when you're coming down, you add the pressure to the strings and then kind of stop it, and then make sure you feel the same pressure in each finger, like a balanced pressure, and then your hand is comfortably land on the strings. like use the word land because for me, land means your strings are supporting the weight of your arm. But of course, you squeeze a little bit, and that friction between the finger and strings can hold entire weight of your arm, and then your arm is very relaxed and your wrist is very relaxed. You are not very stiff to keep the proper height of your hand. So also another point I want to emphasize for the placing chord, like with multiple fingers at the same time on the strings, is the concept of guiding the center of gravity of the arm to the center of the palm. So I want you to feel the weight of the arm around here. So it's difficult to say, but if you have your arm lifted like this, bent knee, and then knee is the lowest point, right? So I think you feel the center of gravity of your arm in the knee, right? And then if you gradually lift your elbow like this and stretch out your arm, you start feeling the gravity here, or you start feeling blood flow or some kind of energy flow down here, because now elbow is almost same level or a little bit higher than the palm here. So it's like a water. If you have a water here, flow the water all the way down to your palm, which is the energy. And if you have a kink or twist, the flow can be disturbed, right? So to deliver the energy from your body stem all the way down to the hand, for me, think about like a water flow. So make the kink much less by lifting this arm like this, and then hold hand like this or arm like this, and then approach to the instrument, and I feel my center of gravity is around here, and then this is a pendulum, so I feel the gravity lines pulling not pulling, but actually bringing my hand down this way, and then with that gravity line, I start resting my hand on the strings. And at this point, actually, line of gravity is on here. So it is very difficult to explain what I'm feeling internally by words, but I hope it makes some sense. So think the energy flow as a kind of water flow. So coming from the higher land to the lower land, and a kink or twist or narrow path by the tense muscle doesn't help for energy to flow. So try to eliminate that type of disturbance between your body stem to the hand, and then place your hand, and then feeling the gravity in the center of your palm, and then rest your hand on the strings, and using that gravitational pull as a part of pressurizing string. So I'm gonna demonstrate. To get a nice balanced sound out of your chord, you need to feel every finger and thumbs are pressurizing the strings with the same pressure, or fingertips are feeling the same pressure from strings. Also, remember, the energy to give a life to the strings is not coming from the hand itself. This muscle movement is powered by the lower arm, but this energy is powered by the energy coming from your body. So I always feel the source of energy is more like between shoulder blade, and that is kind of delivered. There's an invisible line, invisible river of energy or strings, strings all the way to the hand, and then something is powered the finger movement. So I try to have always connection here to the back, and if I don't have it, I need to find the alignment I can feel. So sometimes I need to move my shoulder or lift my elbow a little bit, or bend my wrist a little bit, or some adjustment necessary. But once I feel the connection from the back between the shoulder blade to the hand, it's guaranteed I can deliver powerful and very confident and consistent sound out of the instrument. So to check if you are aligned from fingertip to the upper back between the shoulder blade, the good exercise is if you repeat the same note using the second finger and third finger on the same strings. If you can do that with the very strong sounding note like this, you are aligned. If you are not aligned, actually this type of repetitive notes throw your arm all over the place, and you cannot really have a consistent repetitive sound. So if your arm is aligned to your body, and then you have a very good energetic connection between your body stem and the fingertip, so this repetitive sound actually becomes very, very stable. So this is one of the way I check my alignment. Next technique is octave. Octave is a little unique because it's kind of chord, right? But we play melody with octave. And then also, this is true to the also placing chord. Most important guiding finger is thumb for me. And on a thumb plucking and a simple one note plucking, I told you thumb needs to approach from above, right? And not this way, more like this way. And you can see the triangle between your thumb and the strings. And if you put the line here, you get a triangle here. So you approach strings from above and then use the gravity. So when you place chord, also make sure that your thumb is not like this. It's more like this. And if your thumb can get a good position, your placing is really well anchored, very stable. Actually, for me, the octave is another variation of playing chord. So the thumb needs to be in a good position as if it's playing just a single note with the thumb. So hand position or shape of the hand is not different from playing the chord. But you have only 2 notes, so the balance is very important. So again, you can do this Grand Journeys exercise, sliding. And then when you feel both are pushing the strings in the same pressure and squeeze, let go. Okay, and then the octave, you have to move around very quickly because you are playing melody. Like, the practice for shifting hand position very quickly for the octave is you just practice with just thumb and play the melody with just thumb, but make sure your thumb is in a good position, pushing from above, and then so this practice actually requires you move your entire arm to position your thumb in the right place. So with this practice, you really have to use whole range of your the motion of your arm joints. So especially it is hard on the high register. Once you start being able to do something like this, you can add the 4th finger for the octave lower note, and then so adding the 4th finger, and you can get very fast passage with the octave. So next technique is arpeggio. So arpeggio is a kind of variation of playing chord. So placing and pressurizing is the same, completely the same up to this stage. And then release is different. So letting go string one by one without ever losing the pressure on remaining strings. So once you pressurize, this case I have a 4 fingers on the 4 strings, C, E, G, C as a C major chord, and then you start releasing the pressure note by note from the 4th finger to the 1st finger. So when I let 4th finger go, I don't lose pressure on the other 3. And then now 3rd finger is gone, but 2nd and 1st pressure is remain there. To be able to do that, your hand needs to be placed steady so that the hand position is not easily knocked off by the impact of releasing strings. So you need to really place and feel the gravity here, and rest your hand with its own weight. But sliding down a certain point in a very good position, you just pressurize horizontally, and then you use, I exaggerate my feeling. So it's like putting your weight and squeeze. This is the exaggeration, but that's almost energetically I'm feeling. Hold like a charge the gravity, and then with the gravity you pressurize, and then release one by one without losing the pressure on the strings. So some people wants to this movement, but it's okay if it's have a very strong emotional connection to the movement. But often I just stay in the place, because in that way it's much more easy to keep the pressure on the strings, remaining strings after I pluck some of the strings. So in 20 minutes, there's some limitation, but the most important message today is feel the gravity or your own arm weight and increase the awareness of vertical force and use gravity to anchoring your hand position and pressurizing strings. So gravity is always working in one direction, straight to the center of the earth. So it's like a compass. If you successfully feel and use the gravity as a part of pressurizing force, your hand becomes much more stable and secure on strings because you are aligned with the ever-working natural force, the gravity. So feel the gravity and use it as a compass or reinforcement.